Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. Don has it on his shirt, and I got to claim. You know what? We've had so many crab cakes on our tablecloth here that I washed it from State Fair, and then I forgot it. So we have to bring Paul in here.
I'm not taking my shirt off. So.
Well, Paul Silverman's here from our friends here at Barrett's, and we're going to tell the whole Barrett story. County Executive Barry Glassman here, and of course Don Moeller. We have crab cakes, and they're legitimately on the set here now. Man. And I called you about a month ago, and I said I want to come up and feature your crab cake, and you didn't say why our crab cake. You're like, well, yeah, we got a really good crab cake up here, right?
Sure. Yeah, I wanted you to come up and try it.
Well, look, I've had many crab cake. This is the first one I've had in the Bel Air location. Okay. And Don's had many out on Valley as well. I know County Executive appreciated that. My wife and her whole office would eat at the Barrett's in Hunt Valley before my wife got cancer. When after her second battle, the building's gone. Don's friends over at McCormick with the Old Spice, they moved in over there, Verizon.
Right, that's it.
So we haven't been up to Barrett's certainly not the last year and a half during all this. And when I was looking at Harford County, I realized that y'all had moved into Harford County and brought this crab cake. So I want to give you some option to talk about your business here, because County Executive's talking about trying to keep businesses going, and this county's stayed together pretty good over the last 18 months.
I couldn't agree more. So let's talk about Barrett's. I worked in Hunt Valley with John Barrett. I was there for about 4 years. We had a great run, and he said...
serving crab cakes like this, look at that. That's why.
That's part of it. Yeah, no question about it. And, picture's worth 1,000 words, but tasting it, then we're going at least 100,000 words. He said, what do you think about opening a restaurant in your neighborhood? I said, John, you know what? There's nothing like us in Bel Air. I live in Bel Air. I was driving to Hunt Valley every day. Let's try it.
How long you lived in Bel Air?
I lived here almost 20 years.
What do you love about Bel Air?
Well, mostly it's people. I mean, Bel Air is exploded in the last 30 years, really, but 20 years. There's great variety of people. There's great businesses here. There's stuff to do. There's activities. And it's centrally located to a lot of different places. You want to go north, you can go north pretty quick. You want to go south, it's not that far. The airport's not that far from here. I think it's a great community. It's a great place to raise our kids, too.
Well, an opportunity to start a business here and bring crab cakes. By the way, the crab soup is, I come for the cream of crab and the you call it chowder? What do you call it? Corn and crab chowder?
Corn and crab soup.
It's like a cream, but it's delicious.
Yeah. Nestor, I'm going to interrupt you because I want to tell you a story about that soup that you.
This is Mr. Cream of Crab.
No,
I still have sherry in my house from my housewarming party 18 years ago.
County Executive Glassman will know this to be true. So, in Baltimore County Restaurant Week, we used to have a big kickoff. We'd have it at different restaurants, and a number of the restaurants would participate. Barrett's was one, and they would come, and each restaurant would bring a sampling of their fares. It was the event, County Executive. I'm sure you have some of these. I didn't have to worry about any of our staff being there. You could have thrown a bomb at Towson and not hit any employees because they were all at the Restaurant Week press conference, whether it was being held by Jim Smith or Kevin Kamenitz or myself. The table that got a full-blown run on it every time was people would say, they come and say, Don Barrett's going to be there. Gotta have that corn chowder.
Oh, so that's
they went nuts over that.
It's the first thing I ordered when I came in, right?
Yeah, absolutely was.
Yeah. People love that soup,
and there wasn't
right?
anything left in the bowl.
Well, I licked it. I mean, it's turned off. It's the 4th of July weekend. I eat my hands here,
People love that soup.
They really do. And we go through a lot of it. They're happy with it. And they eat it. Doesn't matter the weather. If it's hot, doesn't matter. Cold, they're going to eat a lot of soup. So, yeah, we always have a second soup, but that's the one that sells the best.
So before this segment, County Executive, we were talking about picking crabs on the Eastern Shore, and I'm doing this Maryland crab cake tour, and I'm going everywhere. The thing, and they made fun of me. They're like, you eat crab cakes every day for 30 days. It's like lobster. By the 6th day, you'll be tired of it.
The County Executive I made fun of
you. Said to me, you're going to hate crab cakes by August 20th. By the time I get to Western Maryland, I'm going to want some lamb or something.
You're going to want a big
I'm going to want to be on Glassman's farm, up here, right?
I want some lamb.
Well, Dan Rogers is taking me out. We're going fly fishing, so he's convinced me that we're, there could be some rainbow trout. Yeah. But I'm going to do crab cake every day. The thing that I've told people is they're going to be different. This is not going to taste like the State Fair crab cake. It's not going to taste like the Fabley's crab cake that we did. It's not going to taste like the Costas crab cake. I want to hear a little bit about the recipe because when we talk to anybody in Maryland, they'd say the same thing. His sister just flew in from Florida. She doesn't get any crab cake in Florida. You wait till you get to Maryland. Mm-hmm. You get a crab cake out of Maryland, bad. You get a crab cake in Maryland, has to be good.
There's a pride involved.
It has to be good.
Because everyone's coming in to try and test you out. Oh, I had one over here. I want to see what yours looks like, what it tastes like. Is it fresh? Is it meaty? Is it lump crab meat?
It's beautiful. These things are beautiful.
Yeah, those little crostinis for happy hour, they sell like crab balls. That's exactly what they are.
All right.
So, fantastic.
So you do serve, these are on the menu.
They're on the menu.
See, I thought you were just buttering us up, making us something special.
Well, I'm doing that too.
Is that the same, Paul? Is that, because the county executive and I, we're all getting ready to grab one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that the same recipe as the crab cake? Okay.
All right, so Tom, you having green? Come on, man, you're going to be loading up this weekend. You have some green beans.
I'm waiting to,
All right, here, you have first Christini. You take one.
Grab a Christini.
All right, you grab one, county executive, and I'm going to grab one here. And in the great spirit and summer 4th of July tradition, crab cakes in Maryland. Who needs fireworks here? Absolutely. There we go. All right. This Republicans and Democrats, nothing more, we're all getting together here.
That's right.
You said no blue and red in crab cake country, you said.
That's right.
I'll tell you what, man, that's delicious. What do you think, county executive?
Broiled,
Very
right?
good.
Broiled.
Why broiled?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, we don't fry crab cakes. They just, you're going to lose the seafood flavor when you throw them in hot oil. Some places do it, and they're pretty successful with it, but when you're using a good quality crab meat, you want to taste that. And you want to taste the little bit of binder that we use.
So you wouldn't want to put mustard all over it or anything like
do it all the
county
time.
executive Glassman just did.
People do it all the time. Make fun of
You're not offended by
You're
that.
not offended whatsoever.
Harford County.
You can do whatever you want. That's right. You want to eat it like a coddy? Eat it like a coddy. Eat it however you want. Whatever makes you happy.
A note to Uncle Jimmy. This is for Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy, County Executive Glassman, agrees with you. A crab cake is enhanced by a little old school yellow mustard. Is that right, County Executive?
So do you want to tell me what's in the recipe? Because I definitely have a little mustard. I'm not getting a lot of celery seed from yours. Yours is similar, and I would say this is a high praise to an Angelina's crab cake.
Okay.
That it has a sweetness to it underneath of it. And I know the meat is sweet, and the meat's got to be the featured part. But certainly there's something binding and holding this thing together.
There is a little bit. There's a seasoning that we put together that is what's holding it together. There's no bread in there. There's no filler. This is the Barrett's family recipe. So
you're never going to tell me.
It's a little bit of a secret.
Paul, our friends at State Fair in Catonsville, Evan Brown, when we stopped there and had a crab cake, it was interesting. He said they will fry it if someone requested, but he sort of alluded to, I think, what you did, maybe expand upon this. He said he believes that a really perfect crab cake, because it's so delicately put together, doesn't necessarily hold up particularly well when it's fried. It tends to fall apart.
It really does. If you got
No, I don't want you mustard. I don't need mustard. What's wrong with you?
If you've got bread in the crab cake, you could probably drop it in the fryer in the basket. It'll hold together pretty well. But since there's no bread in this, it's going to...
Well, this is important because he's carb-free. He's already left to Christine because he's running. He's running for office. He's running track. He's running a county. This guy.
Great. That's why.
So you got it. No carb, but he's in Dundalk tomorrow.
The bread. It's so good.
It is good. It doesn't.
No, you don't need that.
I was talking about the ingredients in the crab cake.
Right.
There's no bread. Some places they'll soak some bread and mix the crab cake in with the wet, and then they've got a pumped up crab thing.
The thing for me is I like them all.
Yeah.
You're probably you're taking this home to Jen, aren't you? You're going to be a good husband tonight.
My wife doesn't eat crab cakes. I
Tonight
told
would
you
be
this.
a good night. Yeah, but you're going to introduce her tonight. Maybe tonight's the night.
My wife has started eating crabs, and it's since her transplant. Her taste buds have changed since her transplant.
Isn't that amazing?
No, she has a totally different palate about what she wants, but she's getting more fishy. I mean, she's lived here. She's from New England. She doesn't eat clams.
So
No.
That's how
But she would eat. She likes crab. When I bring a crab, she doesn't put mustard on it, but she would.
Hey, now.
She might now. Yeah, she might. She might go with Grey Poupon on me,
So, Paul, people out there, Nestor has shown you. Show it again, Nestor. It's spectacular.
I'm going to eat this. This is the one I'm eating right now.
People that are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, even listening to us, now they're saying, okay, Barrett's on the Pike. Tell them how to find you, how to get here, and what they do for reservations and all that, because I think people are going to be really interested in coming to try this crab cake.
Well, I sincerely hope you're right. Okay, we're right at the intersection of Route 1 and Route 24, right in the heart of Bel Air. in the Bel Air Town Center. That's the shopping center here. You can make reservations by calling the restaurant, or you can make reservations on Open Table, or you can go to our website, which is barrettsonthepike.com, and there's a link on there to make.
This is a very simple recipe. There's not a lot in this.
No, there really isn't.
This is real. There's no parsley in here. There's no celery seed in here.
No.
I see a little mayo, and I certainly have a little bit of mustard, but it's more mayo forward than it is mustard forward. I'm trying to figure out what the little green.
Come on, Ina.
I don't know, man. I love it. It's delicious. I'm not going to complain.
Full-blown Ina Carton. Here we go. What do you think?
What do you love about Bel Air? What do you love about Harford County, County Executive, before we get out of here?
Oh, my goodness. We, I'm born and raised here in Harford County, and I think you said it best. It's the people throughout the county, whether you're in the northern end, folks that have just moved here 10 years. We do have a sense of community, and we're
having fun.
Yeah, and we've been through a pandemic. We've lost police officers. We've had tragedies. We've had triumphs. But it's the way everybody comes together, and it just makes it a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And we're close to everybody. We can go to the city, to the ball games, the football games.
Please do.
It's just a great place to do business.
I couldn't agree more. The fact is that the community really stood behind us. When we weren't able to see anybody in the restaurant, we did carry-out only. They came in. They called us. They ordered food. We did family style. We did all kind of different things, trying to keep the doors open. And the community, they loved us, and they kept us here.
Well, Paul, when you mentioned that, you reached out, you had to develop a different business model. This is interesting given where the county executive may or may not end up in his effort to be controller. It's a big issue, I know, in the past General Assembly with cocktails to go. Was that an issue for you? Is that something you were supportive of? Is it important to the restaurant industry? And then I'd say to the county executive, is that something he's supportive of?
Okay, well, as far as we're concerned, it was when everything was closed. It went like gangbusters. We sold cocktails in quart jars, and we sold all kinds of different things. It's slowed down now substantially. We're not doing it at all currently because the county said we cannot until they change the rules. I'm okay either way. It was fun when we could do it. It wouldn't kill us if we couldn't. So I'm okay either way.
Yeah, so the liquor board, I think, has a meeting on the 24th, the county liquor board, and they're going to, I think they have some rules or so forth, but I do, from what I understand, they're going to allow that to continue at least over the summer. Because I passed some legislation also. We were the first county to allow folks to use tents in the parking lot, relax all the parking and zoning difficulties, and allow restaurants to use outside tents for tables and food service. We've extended that to December 31st to make sure everybody stays strong through the summer and we get to the other side of really the vaccination process. And if I could put one plug in just for one area where we're not doing as good as the state, and I'd like to see us do better. We're about 52% fully vaccinated. I think we need to do better with that. The northern part of the county is a little bit lower than that. So I'd urge anybody listening that whether you talk to your primary care giver, we have plenty of vaccine available. It's ready to go when you're ready to go. But we do need to get some more folks vaccinated in case, we get a variant this winter or get some type of spike. The more we have vaccinated, the stronger we'll be this winter.
How about that for full circle, Don? Last time I got to meet you at State Fair. It was a year,
amazing.
literally.
Probably.
Paul, you don't know the story, but we're in the process
March 11th.
It was March 11th of last year. We're doing Baltimore Positive. We had invited county executive to come down to State Fair because we're doing the shows at State Fair and at Faithley's, which was the inspiration for the crab cake tour, quite frankly, 2 years ago. And we had him there that day, and you kept moving off the set, and your phone was up. You literally that morning woke up to the first case, as I remember it, up here at Upper Chesapeake, and you didn't know what this was going to entail, but you certainly were. We talk about your party all the time. We were getting there was different than the way you were signaling it at where we were. How do we know the next time we get together? Think of all that's transpired because you were talking about just how do we deal with patients? Because you didn't even know that as county executive at that time, right?
It was just, we've been through, I've learned a lot.
Woo,
And
baptism by fire, right?
yeah, and I think that's why it'll make me a good comptroller too. I know local government, worked with all our counties and municipalities, and I've been tried and tested. So I think if folks want a comptroller that's been through it, we've been through it here and understand how government works, how procurement works, and so hopefully we'll get through this winter when it comes to make sure.
But you said we don't want to go back. We don't want to go back. That's why
right.
your message about vaccines.
Yeah,
So
we've got to get
for folks who can experience. I would say to you, your folks in the northern county,
Right.
people in northern county or east side of Baltimore County, where
Right.
vaccination rates are lower. Say to them, you're enjoying the freedom. Let's not go
Right.
back.
You don't want any of these people to die over at this hospital. You've had that happen.
Well,
and that's the truth
Yeah,
about you
right.
getting vaccinated.
And we don't want to be a red zone in November
Right.
and then have to figure out what we're going to do with schools and businesses. And so I think really to keep your county strong, your family safe. Listen, I know folks are some unsure, but primary caregivers have the vaccine now. Talk to your doctor and get comfortable and really take a hard look at getting vaccinated this summer before winter comes.
Before we let everybody get out of here and we get back to eating, I'm going to call this a rapid fire round here. There's some real.
I'm eating my crab cake.
You eat
This is
crab cake.
This is where he grills you and you lose your friendship with him. This is it. It's where the hard questions come.
This is the lightning round for the county executive. Broadband expansion. You're pretty proud of what you've done up here. Boy, nothing came to the head more during the pandemic, right? Than teachers trying to connect with kids. And talk to us about what you've done with broadband expansion.
So we've talked about Harford County being a suburban growing county. We have great internet service in this development envelope, but if you get out in the rural areas, we don't. And so we use some of our federal funds through the last allotment of RAPA funds. We're partnering with Think Big, a private provider, and using our HMAN, our fiber that the county owns that circles the development envelope. And so we're doing a public-private partnership to start running that fiber into our rural areas. And we're proud of that. It's moving. And so it's a long process. And then on federal inaction, I still say that the federal government needs to require these internet providers. Hey, listen, they've taken all the cream off the milk and got the high density areas. They should be required to reinvest a certain amount of their profits into our rural areas each year. My grandmother used to say, when strict picking strawberries, don't just pick the ones off the top. You got to get the ones underneath. You got to bend over and get the ones on the bottom. But that's
we talk about access to education. I'm sorry. We talk about access to education. And I remember being a kid, card catalog. Going and checking out a book at the library. The internet, it's fundamental for any part of our society to be included in this. It's like you're off in a village at the North Pole if you're not there. Literally, right?
Yeah. But it is, Don, when you think about infrastructure, 3 times as expensive as water and sewer. It is tremendous, really difficult to get that fiber out to households in rural areas per mile. It's going to be an expensive investment, and it is a 10 to 20 year process. I hate to say it, unless Starlink, Elon Musk can come up with a good process to make a satellite base to reach more homes. It is going to be a long haul to get fiber out, but it is essential.
Congratulations. Again, forward-looking, recognizing that it's infrastructure. We always talk jobs. Anytime you're a county executive, nobody can turn on the TV or have an internet feed without seeing the Wayfair ad.
Right.
And Wayfair is real in Harford County. It's not just on my Facebook feed. Talk to us about Wayfair.
So I call it Project Dane. They're so secretive that when I went to the county council to help get some funding and work out their package, Wayfair required us to call it Project Dane. We couldn't even say it was that company coming. It's so secretive. But it's a great addition to our Amazon type last mile distribution centers that we have in the southern portion of the county. And we're still growing there. But I always like to say that's just part of the toolbox. I don't want it to be the whole portfolio of the county's economic development. It's certainly nice when you can bring in a big company like that. But I still think we work closely with our Defense Department folks at Avenue Proving Ground, support small business, which I think still hires the most folks in Harford County, spread out, and healthcare with Upper Chesapeake, and of course our agricultural heritage, our farm breweries, our craft breweries, and all those new.
Did you say
markets.
beer?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
that's a whole new.
That goes with crab cakes.
Yeah.
Speaking of your agriculture business, and again, I know it's near and dear to your heart. Read somewhere you have an agribusiness incubator. I think it's called the Grove. Tell our listeners what that means when they hear agribusiness incubator.
I always remind them that, probably 10 years ago it was the in thing to have incubators for computer businesses, small businesses. We have one on Route 40 that works with defense contractors. So I told my folks, well, from my farming background, I said, well, why can't we build an incubator for farmers that are developing new projects instead of having to go out and lease 1,000 square foot? We built, it looks like a horse barn with stalls, and actually we rent those stalls out. And so a farmer trying out a new product, whether they're selling meat or whatever, can use that there at the Grove, and it's an agricultural center. We rehabbed an old furniture store. I have University of Maryland there, 4-H, our sediment control through soil conservation. So for the first time in Harford County's history, we have an agricultural center with all our services at one location. I have a library that we're going to rehab, a bank, and turn it into an agricultural library, a playground, trails. So it really will pay homage to our agricultural history to have a center there with all kinds of activities. It's one of the things I'm most proud of. And also, over here at Winter's Run, they were going to tear down the oldest house that was one of the first homes built in Harford County. And so I paid some homage folks.
What year was that? 1700s, maybe?
It was like 1723. The Gorsuch House. And so the folks at the golf course were going to build a development and so forth. We actually got permission to work with some Amish builders to have it taken apart piece by piece, and it's reconstructed up at the agricultural center. So kids can come in and see it. We've got farm-related artifacts in there. And I took a lot of heat for it. It was just called the Blue House, but it really turned out. They numbered every single piece and rebuilt it up there. We spent a little bit of money on it, but I always like
that sounds like a TV show.
We've got to save our history.
Yeah, but that's like a TV show, coming in and rehabbing it and
saving the show. Well, you see him light up when he talks agriculture, and then he's talking kids. And when you talk kids, you got to talk turf fields, right? County executive. Yeah. You put together a little deal, I guess, working with private company, Coppermine, to bring more turf fields to your county.
And that's another public, I really do believe in the state can do it, and we can do it as comptroller. Public-private partnerships where the state has something, private industry has an interest, and where you can work together to make it happen. We had an old public housing project outside of Edgewood Arsenal. Property Washington Court that we had never used for 20 years. And I said, well, why work with Coppermine or another firm and give them the property if they return a $15 million investment to build this. And you know what? It can work out if you can find the right and talk, like we always say, try to solve problems that way. And so we've got a great partnership there. Provide indoor turf fields, and we have Cedar Lane. We have a growing sports tourism segment too. But I kind of am a firm believer that private industry needs to have a piece of it that
have some skin in the game.
That may be the fiscal conservative in me. I just don't think government should build it and say, you use it now. I like those partnerships.
Nestor, crab cakes and civics. How'd this work?
Social studies, man. 4th of July weekend.
C-squared. Yeah. Crab cakes and civics.
All right, look, it's Friday afternoon. It's a little after 3 o'clock. Just can we give the county the last 2 hours off? Can we do that from 3 to 5 today? Can we just turn it down a little bit here?
It's not a budget item, is it, county executive? That's
the game off on Monday, right?
They're off Monday.
Okay, all right. There you go. Take Monday off. I come down there and give everybody off. But thanks to you, Paul, and please give John my best. And I explained before you even came up here, the reason this whole thing happened was your partner John Barrett is very magnanimous in regard to my wife's illness and taking great care of us with crab cakes.
Barrett's on the Pike, folks. Barrett's on the Pike.
That's a summer tomato, too. That's in Harford County.
Here's the deal. We want you to come to Harford County, and those of you in Harford County, we want you to visit Baltimore.
There you go. That's the Baltimore positive spirit.
There we go.
Get down, even you can see the Orioles if you want to. For Don Moeller and for Paul up here at Oh,
we're getting yelled at. We need a little shout out.
hold on. If you need Brooke Boyle, call 410-382-1090. Call Brooke Boyle and make sure his daughter Jessica runs for a county council. Good luck to you, all right?
Thank you. My friend
She
Aaron
is running.
Clement's here too.
He is running.
He's running for county
Yeah.
council.
You know, we got more county council members.
Yeah.
Sergeant Aaron Penman.
So the county executive's plugging out here. Do you Boyle loyal too? Is that what we're
Yes, of course he is.
Hey, Brooke.
Jessica has passed the first test. She's got chutzpah. And you can't run for office without chutzpah. She
Right.
passes the first test.
Thank you.
Oh,
thank
man.
You, thank you.
They're never letting me back in Harford County. I'm going to get my... When I hit like 74, get out around 67,
Your card stamp.
Johnny O will be there. Come on back. Come on back.
And we're all Republicans, so it's going to get you in even worse trouble.
Johnny just called, said you can come back in.
On behalf of former County Executive Tom Mull and all our friends up here in Harford County and Barrett on the Pike, in the good spirit of Controller candidate and current County Executive of Harford County, Barry Glassman, we're signing off. Crab Cake Tour number 4. Our stop in the books. We're back for more Baltimore Positive, WNST.net right after this.